What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be talking about in this update video is we're going to be going over the changes on the Ortex data that we saw today. Again, if you guys watched yesterday's video, these changes were exactly what we were expecting to happen, and it's really no cause for concern, but we're going to go over these in short again and just explain exactly what happened. Now, in addition to this, we also have something very strange that has happened on the options data. Remember, yesterday, it looked like the open interest on that January 2022 expiration date got essentially slashed in half, but then it came back today, and cross-referencing it to what we actually see on the actual option chain for AMC in terms of the open interest that is showing, it doesn't necessarily look like there was a whole lot that had changed throughout the day from yesterday to today. So it mainly looks like there was a big Stonko tracker glitch. Now, it looks like they've taken care of that glitch. They've put the contracts back on Stonko tracker, but we're going to go over what we're looking at on that expiration date now. And the main thing that I want to get across to people in this update video is that AMC has been doing things with its business over the last couple of months that we really haven't seen another company do in a while. If you guys have been watching any of my streams, I've been talking about the concept of trying to value these types of companies. AMC is getting into the popcorn business and into the crypto space with a lot of these NFTs. How are you going to accurately project the cash flows with this company when it is impossible to really determine what kinds of revenues they're going to be receiving in the future and what kinds of growth rates need to be applied to those revenues as well? Now, that is a lot of financial jargon, but what AMC has kind of just proved to us today is they've obliterated the short thesis and they've obliterated the shorts, and it is only a matter of time before the overall market in mainstream media finally starts to see what is really going on. And I really want everybody to fully understand why this is so important, because in the stream yesterday, we did see a little bit of red on AMC, and a lot of people were getting very, very upset. We closed the day today down 3.41%. But with everything we have looking forward to with this company, these small drops in my mind are no big deal. Nothing has changed. The shorts have not covered, and AMC is getting so much better as a business. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot and getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So coming over to the Ortex data here, we're seeing the utilization at 77.47%, the estimated short interest 16.9%. The reason for this, Ortex was essentially overestimating the short interest on this December 15th settlement date, so they had to make some adjustments. Now, they're going to continue to make these adjustments. We have seen an uptrend in the exchange reported short interest over the last month or so. So again, guys, the shorts have not covered. Now, coming over to the options chain over here, let's just give this a quick refresh to see the most accurate data. Right now, we're seeing 113,000 contracts in the money for January. Now, again, it looks like there was a Stonko tracker glitch because now we are seeing a lot of these contracts pop back up. Now, with the out of the money calls, there are 458,000 of them. That is a boatload. And remember what we were talking about before. The dollar exposure that these market makers have on the options chain right now compared to what was essentially going on in January and June is so much more nasty than what we saw back on that January and June date. So these market makers, honestly, with the move that we saw yesterday in the option chain, it made sense in my mind that they would try to take some of this exposure off the table, but they haven't, and they are still very, very screwed going into this expiration date. Now, let's get into this situation that we have with AMC NFTs and their business model and why this is so important. When we come over to this page right here, Atomic Hub, on Wax, we can see the highest prices that the commemorative NFTs that AMC had released sold for. We can see this one right here, $16,394. Now remember, it doesn't cost very much to get a movie theater ticket, and somebody made $16,000 off of that one small investment on just going to the movies. Now, there are some different things that can happen in the crypto market sometimes that people can do some suspicious things. So it is potentially possible that somebody sold this NFT to themselves to try to artificially increase and jack up the prices for these NFTs all across the market. Now, even if that is the case, we come down a little bit further and we can see this one sold for $2,374. This one about $2,000, $1,969 here, $2,000 here. Now, you might be thinking, why is this important? Here's why this is so important. Adam Aaron tweeted this out today that this NFT sold for over $16,000. AMC is not just going to stop here with basically releasing these commemorative NFTs. Now, think about what happened when AMC did this. They did it on Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, the #2 global box office ever. They almost broke the record of Avengers Endgame, but again, you also have to think about what was happening during the time that this movie was getting released. There were new variant concerns. It is possible that people may have been a little bit more hesitant to go to the movie theater, but the fact that you had to go to the movie theater in order to get some of these NFTs that AMC was releasing, people still went, and that is why they were able to crush the box office numbers. Now, I know at this point in the video, a lot of people are going to be saying, hey, this is not a fundamental play. Why are you talking about box office numbers? Why aren't we talking more about the shorts and the short interest? Here's why we really want to talk about this. AMC is getting very close to free cash flow profitability. Now, the reason I am always going to say that the fundamentals are going to matter is because that is what the short thesis is based off of. If you can prove in the market as AMC, the company, that the short thesis is no longer valid, well, a lot of these funds are managing outside money. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their clients to not YOLO and keep them in a bet that does not make any sense. So as the fundamentals of AMC increase and get much, much better, as we are seeing, which they are going to continue to do, just think about this right here. AMC basically created the second largest ever box office for Spider-Man. They are not just going to stop here. When we come over and see what different movies are going to be coming out next year, it is a packed slate. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Spider-Man, this one just came out, I believe, unless they're releasing a new movie, Into the Spider-Verse 2, the Batman, Thor, Jurassic World, Doctor Strange, Avatar 2, Aquaman, Top Gun, Mission Impossible. It is a stacked slate. If AMC is going to continue to come out with these NFTs, and people are really going to honestly kind of be feeding off of that hopium that, well, I could just go buy a movie ticket like I was going to do anyway, go to the theater, scan my ticket, get an NFT that is potentially going to be worth $16,000 that you would be able to sell it for, people are going to be flocking to the theaters in a way that we have never seen before. This is something that I think is a little bit under the radar right now that I really want people to fully understand, and is why I am really continuously so bullish, and these price movements to the downside that we see on AMC in the short term really don't bother me all that much. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about in this video that I did forget to mention at the beginning is this situation with this potential for the Fed to be preparing for some sort of major market event to the downside. And the thing that we really need to set the scene with this is over the last 2 years, the Fed has been propping up our markets in a way that we have never seen before. We know how the market reacts when a bunch of money is getting pumped into it. It aggressively moves to the upside. But what happens when the rate hikes start to come and the money starts to get sucked out? Well, when we come to this article right here, we can see until July of this year, only the Fed's primary dealers, we need to come up here a little bit in order to get a better understanding. If you're stunned that Goldman Sachs is allowed to own a federally insured bank under existing U.S. law, see our previous report, yada, yada, yada. These three banks have a number of things in common. One, each financial institution already has a broker-dealer affiliate that is already one of the Fed's 24 primary dealers that participates in the Fed's repo operation. So we are back to this conversation surrounding the Fed's repo operations. This gets really interesting. So each of these three banks' primary dealer affiliates took large secret loans from the Fed's repo facility when credit collapsed on Wall Street on September 17, 2019. I'm basically pretty sure that was the last repo crisis. So all three institutions have trillions of dollars in exposure to derivatives, according to the data from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which we have gone over many, many times. If all three banks already have broker-dealer affiliates participating in the Fed's reverse repo loan facility, why would another affiliate be added? The first thought that comes to mind is the fact that the Fed puts daily caps on the dollar amount that each counterparty can borrow per day. By having two affiliates as counterparties, that amount to borrow can be doubled. Now, if you've been paying any attention to what we've been talking about with the exposure on the derivatives, And the reverse repo and repo operations on the Fed and on the website that they give us, you would say that they're wildly over leveraged, and we have not seen any repo operations to this date for a while. Now, when you think about a reverse repo versus a repo, in a reverse repo, the Fed is giving the banks treasuries and taking cash out of their system because the banks have too much cash that it's become a liability. When a repo happens, the Fed is now giving the banks cash in return for treasuries. Now, you might be thinking this is kind of against everything that we would expect the Fed to be doing right now with the taper. But when we come over here, this is the first time that we have started to see the repo operations pick up. So this is kind of an under the radar way for the Fed to keep kind of propping up the markets behind the scenes without anybody really noticing. So we do have a 3 million repo accepted today and a 1.637 trillion reverse repo accepted today as well. If we start to see these numbers flip, that is going to tell us a very telling thing about where our market is headed or potentially headed and the fears that the Fed has going forward. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC and everything going on with this whole NFT situation and this Fed repo situation. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.